morning from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It means we are going to be answering the questions which you guys have submitted to us via our Instagram stories. We are also going to be predicting the Bad Blood card. Now, a few weeks before every pay-per-view, we do this, and pretty much every single time we predict all the matches wrong because, well, I guess WWE is just quite unpredictable right now, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and you guys know what I say. For a fun show, I need a fun panel, and I certainly have one today, and let's kick things off with Clark Taylor. Clark, how are you?
What is going on? I am exhausted, but I'm feeling great. I'm in one of those, just serendipitous states where you're like, this is all perfect because my birthday's in 2 days. So I'm fired up about that. We just had No Mercy last night. 2-show day and a great fantasy football draft over here at Wrestling Republic. And then Bash at Berlin before that. You can't ask for much more. All In doesn't feel like it was a week ago. And it was. It's crazy to me how great wrestling's been, how much fun we've been having over here at Wrestling Republic. But I'm stoked. I'm stoked to have a return today. No spoilers, Ben, though.
No spoilers. You're not spoiling my intro today, Clark, because also joining us, we have a returning guest. You saw a glimpse of him just a moment ago. I've accidentally brought Clark back on screen, but he is in the corner right now, and it is Josh Markowitz. How are you, Josh?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Ben? What's up, Clark? I mean, I'm doing great. There's no other words to say. I'm back at Wrestling Republic daily broadcast. I had to take an unfortunate 2-month break from, going away for the summer, moving into college. Now I'm here at Syracuse University studying broadcast journalism. So it's all coming full circle right now. But, it was great, but I'm even more happier just to be back here talking wrestling. Just like Clark said, wrestling is so hectic, but so awesome at the same time right now. All In feels like it was 5 months ago and it was literally last week. So much has been going on and it's just so awesome to be able to talk about it. And I'm ready to get into it. Let's do it.
Absolutely. No, it is great to have you back, Josh. And this episode, it is a fun one to return to, no doubt about it. Let's kick things off by doing our traditional thing. Let's predict the card for the upcoming pay-per-view. And of course, this month, it's going to be Bad Blood, and it is certainly going to be an interesting one. I'll go first. I'll give my predicted card. And I'm going to kick it off with a match which I'm the least sure about on this match. But hey, I'll predict it anyway. And that's Nia Jax versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure if this is the direction they're going in. Obviously, Bayley returned to help Michin from Nia Jax. But let's be real about it. This could happen on SmackDown, or it could happen on the pay-per-view, but I was unsure about the fifth match, so that's the one I've gone for. Then moving on to the Intercontinental Championship match, because as we all know, there's currently a title tournament going on for that, and there's been a few triple threat matches. We're going to have a fatal four-way in 2 weeks' time, but I am predicting that Ilya Dragunov is going to win that tournament, and I think at Bad Blood, we're going to be having Bron Breakker, Ilya Dragunov for the Intercontinental Championship, and boy oh boy will that be a banger. Then for the Women's World Championship, this one's a bit of a no-brainer. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Zero doubt about it in my mind. The most obvious match on the card for me personally. But then I was really stuck between whether this was going to be a Hell in a Cell match or a 3 stages of Hell match. But I have gone for a Hell in a Cell match purely because I think it might be a bit safer for Punk. And yes, I'm predicting CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I know Punk said, hey, I'm done with McIntyre. I want Gunther now. Well, Punk, you might be done with McIntyre, but it doesn't mean McIntyre is done with you. Who knows? Maybe this week on Raw they build up Gunther versus Punk for next week on Raw. And then McIntyre screws Punk next week. Who knows? Perhaps something like that will happen. Especially considering it'll be the season premiere of Monday Night Raw as well. I could certainly see that coming, actually. I mean, that just came out of my head, but I actually think that is going to be the case now. But yeah, I'm predicting Punk versus McIntyre. Hell in a Cell. But then the main event, because I don't think the Hell in a Cell match is main eventing, guys. I think Sami Zayn is going to get to the Fatal 4-Way. I think he's going to qualify in his triple threat match. I think he's... Sorry, not Sami Zayn. I botched that. I think Jey Uso is going to because he already has. But I think on the other side of the bracket, Dominic Mysterio is going to qualify. And I think in the Fatal 4-Way in a couple of weeks' time for the Intercontinental Championship opportunity, I predict that, like I said, Ilya Dragunov is going to win, but I predict Dirty Dom is going to find a way to cost Sami Zayn, and not Sami Zayn, I keep saying Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and at that point, Sami Zayn's going to come out the Judgment Day, and Sami Zayn and Jey Uso getting a bit of a brawl about it all, and then I think the week before the PLE, the week before Bad Blood, I think it's going to be the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn and Jey Uso for the Tag Team Championships. And in that match, I am predicting Solo Sikoa and his bloodline are going to cost Jey Uso from getting a championship. I don't think, while his bloodline's around, Solo Sikoa wants anybody else who's not in it to get a championship. So I think they're going to screw over Jey Uso. How does this relate to Bad Blood, you might ask? Well, let me tell you, because I think the main event of Bad Blood is going to be Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. And during the match, we are going to see Bloodline member after Bloodline member interfere. It's going to be a 4-on-2 until Jey Uso and Sami Zayn come down and help take out the rest of the bloodline and help Cody Rhodes. And they'll say they're doing it for Cody Rhodes because, of course, Jey and Sami, they're still not going to be cool with Roman Reigns. But then I'm predicting New Japan Pro Wrestling, who's now left New Japan Pro Wrestling confirmed. I predict Hikuleo is going to debut for the Bloodline. It's then going to be a 5 versus 4 in this match. And that's when I think Jimmy Uso might just return. But yeah, main event of Bad Blood. The unlikely duo of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming together against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, with it of course leading to a War Games match at Survivor Series War Games with Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. I keep on mixing up Sami Zayn and Jey Uso taking on the Bloodline. But that's the end of my rather long prediction. But hopefully I'm right. I'm probably completely and utterly wrong based on the track record of it all. We do have a few questions here about it all. We have Melissa in the chat. Shout out, Melissa. I hope you're having a great day. We have also got Brainkill asking, who is this Josh guy? Well, Josh, I'm going to pass it to you next so you can tell them exactly who you are and what you are predicting the Bad Blood card will be.
That's just my college friend. Let's not worry about them. Let's talk about Bad Blood real quick. Look, this has kind of been an unpredictable match card, in my opinion. I was trying to predict it earlier, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. There's so much going on. Just like you said, the main event, it could go any way. I don't even know what to say. But for starters, I'm going to do CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Look, I know CM Punk said it's over. CM Punk said, I'm done with Drew. I'm going for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's not happening. I think we're going to be told the story that Punk is done with Drew. And just like you said, we'll probably see Punk, go for Gunther on Raw either this week or next week. But I think this war is unfinished. And actually, I know this war is unfinished. When have we ever seen a rivalry that's been like what? How many? It's been like an 8-month rivalry between Punk and Drew. When have we ever seen a rivalry that's gone this long end in 1-1 in terms of wins? There's no way. It's going to be best of 3. It's going to finish inside Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. It's the perfect time to do it. It's the perfect PLE to do it. It's literally Bad Blood where the biggest rivals go head-to-head. Punk versus Drew McIntyre needs to happen in a Hell in a Cell. Absolutely. Next, I got Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Hopefully, maybe even opening the show up in a Hell in a Cell, which I would love to see. I think Bad Blood is going to kind of replace the feeling of Hell in a Cell in a way. It's that gruesome PLE. There are a lot of stipulation matches, especially Hell in a Cell. And I think hopefully we can see both a men's and women's Hell in a Cell match for this PLE, just like they used to do back when Hell in a Cell was a PLE. And, Ripley just pinned Morgan at Berlin and Bash, pretty much earning her another opportunity. So I think that's a no-brainer for sure. I also got Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. And, again, just like I said, it's Bad Blood. So this is, the hottest rivalries going head-to-head. And Priest versus Balor, it could go either way because I think if it's planned out correctly and not rushed, it can be a perfect time to do it. However, this could be a rivalry that they could build up for many, many weeks because of how long they've been together. And there's so many stories to be told. So I don't know what they're going to do. However, I do think Bad Blood is a perfect time to do Priest versus Balor, and I would love to see it happen. So I'm going to do that. This is now my hot take of the day. It's kind of crazy, but I would love for this to happen. Give me Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade in a best 2 out of 3 falls match to finish their best of 5 series. Now they each have 2 wins in their series, and it's all happening on SmackDown, and that's great. SmackDown's a big show. Obviously, I'm very, very happy that Hunter and Triple H has given them 4 matches already, which has been great. But let's keep pushing this rivalry on SmackDown. Let's set up tag matches where they're both involved. Let's really pump up this rivalry, and then have a crazy 5-star match of Bad Blood. Like Triple H, just trust me, this will cook. Best 2 out of 3 falls match. Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade will absolutely cook, and it'll be a great, perfect match for Bad Blood. Now, for the main event, I don't really want to see it. And this prediction is not as extravagant as yours, Ben. It's not as crazy as yours, Ben. I'm going the boring route here. I think it's just going to be Cody versus Solo again. I think we are going to see something different here. I think maybe we'll see a stipulation. Maybe we'll see a return. My prediction at WWE Bad Blood, I think Jimmy Uso is going to return and take out Solo Sikoa. I think either way, mutually, we can all agree that something is going to happen at Bad Blood at the end. I don't think it's just going to be Cody versus Solo. Someone wins and the PLE ends. Something's got to happen. Something's got to happen, and to build this bloodline war games, that's pretty much inevitable at this point. But my prediction is gonna be Jimmy Uso returns. But you just may be right, Ben. We could get all of the bloodline to return at once. So that's my Bad Blood prediction. It's a tough thing to predict, I'll be honest. But either way, just talking about it right now, I'm ecstatic for the pay-per-view.
Absolutely, it is going to be a blast, and I do agree with you. I do probably think Cody versus Solo is the safe choice, to say the least. But hey, my prediction record is so bad at this point that I'm just like, well, hey, I might as well make it worse at the possibility of just calling something completely unpredictable that people don't think is going to happen. But we do have a couple of comments here. Bobby Petito saying, hello, guys. Hello to you, Bobby. We have Abe saying that spicy, Josh liking that opinion. I'm Brainkill liking it as well. But now, Clark, I want to get your predictions. What do you think the Bad Blood card? It's a bit of a tongue twister, which I didn't realize until today.
I think there will be Bad Blood. I'm excited to give my predictions here. Out of the gates, I'm going with Cody Solo 2 again as well. I think that's going to be the case. A lot of run-ins, a lot of shenanigans. I think this time it's the curtain jerker. I think for once, this pay-per-view is built around something else. I think this is the opening match without question, and I dig that. And I'm stoked as well for another one that fits the Bad Blood aesthetic that I'm going to come to next, which is Damian Priest, Finn Balor, pay it off, fight, do something crazy, street fight, something like that, falls count anywhere, give it a stip. I'm all over it. Give it a stipulation. Priest Balor. It's time they have a fight. I've also been, just like you did, I've got Bayley Nia Jax for the WWE Women's title. I think that's a really, really logical pick, and I ran through those 3 quickly because my next one is kind of a lob from the 3-point line, but I'm looking for Braun Breaker Dragunov. Let's see an IC title at Bad Blood, and let's see a slugfest out of those 2. I dig it. I'm all over that. Why would we not? Who would that hurt? Now, the main event, I agree on Hell in a Cell, but the main event lasts a long time. I'm talking 3 stages of hell. Submission match, street fight, drop the cage. Give it to me, feed it to me. I'm in. And unfortunately, Kevin Abreu, yes, I see your comment, no tag teams, but absolutely. Punk Drew 3 stages. Do it.
Oh, that would be epic. I love to see that. I hope they do that. But can Fragile Phil, can he take that these days, Clark?
It's a good question. I do believe he can. He and Drew showed some serious chemistry in that strap match. That was a very physical match.
That's true.
And he made it through. I do believe that, yeah. that's the direction I would go if both are up for it. 100%.
I would love it to happen. And to Covin's point, I mean, it's true. None of us predicted a tag title match, and I think that tells you the state of the tag team division and how it's been booked. It's not in a good place at all. Bobby Petito is saying LA Knight versus Giovanni Vinci for the US title, and Jade and Bianca versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane for the women's tag team championships. That would be fascinating. Absolutely. The heel mark is saying Punk versus Drew in an Iron Man match. Meanwhile, Melissa is saying, Clark, your voice is better.
It does feel better. I'm working on it.
It is now nearly back to 100%. It's made a recovery quicker than Arsenal's new signing is. He's unfortunately out for 2 months. We sign a player and they get injured. That's the curse. But Lord Virus of Nurgle is saying your predictions are insane, Clark, in a good way. And well, let me actually read out the full card. He's saying triple threat, Solo versus KO versus Cody, Liv versus Rhea, Finn versus Priest. And yeah, very solid card there. And he's saying evening as well. Good evening to you, Lord Virus of Nurgle. But now let's move on. Let's move on to the first question for Mailbag Monday, shall we? Because our first question is submitted to us by... I hate it when it does this. I've said on there about this before. Whenever for some reason we start the stream, it shuts down on my other tabs, but it's back open now. This first question is actually from @LordVirus of Nurgle, strangely enough. And the question is, do you think having a TNA star winning any title in NXT is good for the business? Of course, last night at NXT No Mercy, Joe Hendry competed for the NXT Championship, but he lost. And after losing, Shad said on NXT Off the Air last night that, hey, I think it was a mistake. I think they should have put the title on Joe Hendry. But Clark, I'm fascinated to hear your thoughts on this.
So this one was tough for me because I wanted Joe Hendry to win last night very, very much. If I had a rooting interest, I wanted him to take the title off of Ethan Page. I can't lie about that. It didn't happen, and I also am aware of the fact that it's a big ask. It's a huge ask to have a star signed to a different promotion carrying a title in yours. That is a gigantic ask. I thought it was really well handled last night in that one in particular, but I would love to see it. Truly, we've talked Forbidden Door type stuff. There's all kinds of cliches we can dance around when it comes to this topic, but it would just be a cool moment, I think, for TNA. And there are plenty of stars that are deserving. I mean, it was interesting. We saw Wentz go over Wesley last night, which I truly didn't expect. Honestly, I mean, the partnership thus far has worked for a long time. I think, or not a long time, but for the amount of time that since it started basically earlier this year, right? Long enough time. Let's give Joe a shot. Joe would have been the guy. I think the only other opportunity is going to be from the Knockouts division, from the women's side, to potentially win a title there. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a trigger that's going to be pulled at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be interesting. The heel mark is saying the whole world cried when Joe Hendry lost last night. A lot of people did. The off-the-air crew were not happy at all, but Kevin is saying main event was okay, nothing awesome or great.
Whoa. It was fun. I thought Trick Williams was a really good referee. Big swing and count.
Have you seen his diss track he's released today? He's released a diss track on Butch, Pete Dunne, and it's
great.
He gets the entire roster involved. It's absolutely brilliant. But Kobe saying, wait, Clark, you're believing in a babyface? I thought you only rooted for heels. Good question.
Only one, but I do love a good heel. Everyone knows that. That's a fact.
He believes in Joe Hendry, but that's it. Christopher Leclerc says, Unholy Union versus Damage Control for the #1 contendership for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships tonight. So Bobby Petito, to your shout earlier, maybe your prediction could be right. And happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to you as well, Christopher Leclerc. And yeah, I mean, listen, this Bad Blood card is certainly going to be interesting to say the very, very least. But something that is also interesting is Next Level. Now, if you guys haven't heard of Next Level before, let me talk to you. Because Next Level, they've taken all our social media links across all platforms and put them all in one place. And that one place is nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms linked all in one place. Plus, just in case that wasn't enough, if you download their free app, there's also a section on it just for wrestling content creators. It is absolutely brilliant. Once again, nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms linked all in one place, and it's completely free as well. But now it's time to move on to the next question. And the next question, it is a fun one, and it was submitted by Jennifer_E_Garcia_Mintz. A lot of underscores, but I like it. Who is asking, who will be Cody Rhodes' next opponent? Well, I mean, we kind of have... Well, we kind of did cover this in the first one, didn't we? Yeah, that was...
Yeah, we could say it again, though.
That was an absolute whiff from me.
Do it again.
It's
I
fair.
mean, Josh, go for it.
Do you still
We'll
think
go
it's
for
solo, or have you changed your mind?
Well, I do think it's solo, but we'll dig deeper than that. Quickly, I wanted to point out when I was thinking about this question, for the fans on X, Twitter, whatever, Instagram, Reddit, etc., who are saying that Cody Rhodes is a boring champion, you're wrong. I think the people that are saying that are the same people that are saying John Cena was boring. And now what are you doing? Now you're praising him as he's about to be on his farewell tour. And it's going to be the same thing in 10 years when Cody Rhodes is on his farewell tour. So, it's going to be the same when Cody hangs up his boots. I think his run has been almost perfect so far. Cody Rhodes has been dominating, and he's been delivering almost every night. Whenever he has to go out there on the brightest stage, on the brightest lights, and he has to deliver, he does it. He has great performances nonstop, back-to-back, and he's a fighting champion. He fights more than just PLEs. He's on SmackDown. He's on Raw. He's everywhere, and he's a champion, and he's on house shows, etc. So for those of you who are saying he's a boring champion, you're wrong. Just throwing that out there. Now, Cody's next opponent, we did kind of answer this in the beginning, and, it doesn't excite me to say, I wish I could say Randy Orton. I wish I could say John Cena. But it's not. It's not the next opponent. Will Cody Rhodes maybe face against Randy Orton, maybe face against John Cena? I really, really hope so, and I do think so, actually. But Cody's next opponent for the undisputed WWE Championship is Solo Sikoa. And Michael Cole said himself in the opening match at Bash to Berlin with Cody versus Kevin Owens. He said, the winner of this is going to face against the Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa. Cody won. It's, unless Michael Cole kind of messed up there, it's going to be Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes. And there's a ton of questions going into this whole match, especially, we're talking specifically the main event of Bad Blood. Well, because, Hell in a Cell suits Drew McIntyre and CM Punk better. It just does. So we're not going to throw Cody and Solo in there. Bloodline rules, I think, would get too repetitive if they did this again, especially for a match that was introduced at WrestleMania main event. And this would be I think the third time that they've done Bloodline rules. I don't want this to be a repetitive match type. I want this to be a very, very rare match type. So I don't think they definitely shouldn't do Bloodline rules. Could they do maybe a ladder match? Sure. But, that's kind of basic. Also, not to mention, we're in Cody's hometown, which is another odd dynamic because when you kind of look at the Bad Blood, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell should main event this pay-per-view. However, we have Cody Rhodes in the promotional video, likely on the promotional poster. It's his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. So, he's probably going to main event against Solo, which puts the whole kind of card at a weird angle because where do you put Drew versus CM Punk? But probably the most highly anticipated match, way more anticipated than Cody Solo is. But, what's going to happen here? I think Roman's going to show up to help Cody. I think Jimmy's going to show up to help Cody. I think kind of like what you said earlier, Ben, this match is going to help set up an eventual massive War Games match between many Bloodline members, between Sami Zayn, between Cody Rhodes. It's going to be a huge thing, but it's going to be an awesome thing. So, in my opinion, I think Cody Rhodes' next opponent is Solo Sikoa. I do think, their match at SummerSlam was actually pretty good. It was better than I expected. It was better than most people expected, I believe. Was it carried a little bit by the Roman Reigns return? Maybe. But the match itself, in terms of match quality, psychology, etc., was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed the match throughout. So, I think now with, maybe a bigger stipulation, more anticipation, main eventing in Cody's hometown, I think the Solo's gonna get grilled. The boos are gonna be loud. The cheers, the woe is gonna be loud for Cody. I think if the anticipation is higher for this match than it was for SummerSlam, Cody and Solo are gonna deliver. Hopefully, we'll see a stipulation. I don't know what yet. Hopefully, we'll see some returns. But in my opinion, I think it's got to be Solo Sikoa for the next opponent for Cody.
Well, I do think that could well be the case. Meanwhile, the heel Mark is saying that he thinks it's going to be Kevin Owens once again, and Bobby Petito thinks the same thing as well. But Abe is saying that Cody Rhodes is boring. What a snooze fest. Meanwhile, Shad is agreeing with you, Josh, and saying no, he is not. But talk to the biggest Cody hater, Clark. What do you have to say about that?
I also picked Solo Sikoa as his opponent, so I agree with quite a bit of what Josh said, but he made one mistake there. He said Bad Blood suits Cody Rhodes, and so don't you get me started on the suits. Don't you dare.
Damn it.
No,
what were you thinking?
Not this again.
What were you thinking? You can't.
No.
The tie clips, it's goofier than a football bat. We've been over this. You used the word suits? What were you thinking? Josh, everything else I agree with because I have the same pick. I think it's Solo Cody.
He's not going to wear the tie
I don't know
clips in the
that
match.
it suits anybody.
It fits it. How about that?
On three-piece suits or tie clips or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's Cody Rhodes. It's Solo Sikoa. I'm under the exact same opinion there, and I think a stipulation would be nice. Stipulation would be real nice.
It certainly would be. I'm going to be honest, I'm actually between you guys on Cody's title reign so far. I think from an in-ring standpoint, it's been great. I think from an out-of-ring standpoint, it's been... not really anything, is it? But, so that's my thoughts on it. But now it is time to move on to the next question submitted by at Melissa.Robinson05, who is asking... Are 5-match PLE cards too short? Now, this is a question which has been debated a lot online recently, and the reason why it's been debated online a lot recently is because pretty much, excluding SummerSlam, all the WWE PLEs since WrestleMania have been 5-match cards. Now, of course, Triple H used to do this back in the day of NXT Black and Gold NXT takeovers, and I thought it was tremendous. I thought it worked absolutely perfectly for those types of shows. But for me personally, I think it's about one match too short for the main roster. I think 6 would be a perfect number. But some people massively disagree. I mean, talking about people who disagree, AEW CEO, AEW President, Tony Khan, he prefers 10 to 12 match cards, and a lot of people side with him on it. There's a huge difference between Triple H and Tony Khan's philosophy when it comes to booking a PLE, but Clark, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Are 5-match PLE cards too short?
Oh, I was about to do it. I was going to say the line, as a what, Ben? As an MMA fan? I mean,
no.
I've been watching the UFC my entire life. 5-match main cards. I love it, right? Boxing, you're never going to see 5. Pro wrestling, I don't mind more than 5. I agree with you. 6 makes a lot of sense for the main roster, especially on certain cards. I think there's multiple ways to solve this problem. I mean, you look at prelims when you talk mixed martial arts. If we can make the pre-show a bigger deal, make that more important, it's a second show. It's just more content. Why would we not? And with the TKO partnership, it's in the cards. It is in the cards. Shad's got a great comment here, and I'm just going to pull it up real quick while I'm on. He said, I prefer 5 to 7. I think 7 is the perfect cap when it's a longer card, right? And I think 5 is fine. I thought 5 was plenty last night on No Mercy. I did. But I do agree with you, Ben, on the rosters are now so deep, and we're all so aware of what's going on inside of the wrestling landscape that at this stage, there are times, because you look at a card like an All In, and it's real easy to go like, oh, too many matches. We all had a blast. Whether you watched it at home or in the building, we all had a blast. So there's time and place, there's nuance when it comes to this type of thing. And I would prefer if it's non-formulaic, as long as whoever's at the helm is getting it right at the right time, right? There are certain cards that deserve more matches. There are certain cards that do not. And as long as the build is good, I think it all goes back to that. That's the business we're in. It's entertainment at the end of the day. And if 6 matches is more appropriate than 5, have 6. If 7's more appropriate than 5, have 7. If it's only 5, have only 5. To me, it's about show quality at the end of the day. And I don't want it to be repetitive.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, well, it depends on the event a bit. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I think you brought up a brilliant point about All In, because a lot of us, we loved that show. I was in attendance for that show. And to me, in the middle, it kind of got, not even in the middle, it was like right towards the end, right before the main event, everybody started getting a little bit tired. And I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because I think a show of that spectacle and that size, for that to be that many storylines and matches, I think it's fine. But what I think they should have done is similar to what Progress does when we cover it, Clark. I think they should have done a 15 to 20 minute halftime show. Yeah, let everybody go to the toilet, grab a beverage, come back, and enjoy the rest of the action.
I think you are spot on with that, Ben. I could not agree with you more. I think it's old school, but it applies these days, especially for a show like that, in a way that, I don't think you'd anticipate because of attention span type stuff. But it works in the sense of you have the minute to wind down, and then you can really get back focused on the next match. I could not agree with you more.
And also, if I could quickly point on that, it's a great point, and I agree. And I think from a wrestler standpoint, also a fan standpoint, just trying to imagine being in the building for an intermission like that. There's kind of like 2 opening matches. Like there's the opening match, then there's intermission, then there's another opening match. So that second opening match, which isn't really an opening match, but it feels like it, is going to have just as much of a pop for that first or second entrance as it would the first match, as opposed to where it's in the middle and it's like, oh, whatever, he's coming out. But with an intermission, everyone's recharging, everyone's going to the bathroom, taking a drink, chilling out. I think it would work out great. That's a good point, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lord Virus of Nurgle loves it when Progress does it as well. He's saying Progress is awesome. And it absolutely is. There's zero doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it is something which, people should take from Progress. They should be inspired by it, and they should do it, or at least trial it. Because I think if they did that at All In, I think, for example, Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker, I think it would have had a better crowd reaction, because it was very simply because they were giving us so much high quality wrestling that we just kind of got a little bit burnt out, and we all needed to grab a drink. And I mean, it was really Chris Jericho's match which suffered the most from that, but even still, it would have helped him if there was one as well. The heel Mark says that he'll be at All Out. Make sure you enjoy that.
First time in 4 years that I haven't been there. Man, I wish I could be, but it's all good. It's all good. Next year.
That's rough.
I'm doing a makeup trip for Bears Patriots.
But Josh, I want to get your take. Are 5-match PLE cards too short?
Yeah, Clark just said this, and I'm going to repeat it. For me, and this is, obviously also WWE's way of looking at Triple H's way of looking at it. It's been this way since NXT. Quality over quantity. Again, quality over quantity. To me, that's the most important thing in wrestling. If you want to do a history lesson, we can. Let's go back to 2019 WWE, one of the darkest times in the company's history, in my opinion. Viewership was low. AEW was on the rise. WWE was losing momentum. Every PLE or pay-per-view back then had 10 or more matches, almost. Pretty much everyone. WrestleMania that year, 2019, in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at MetLife Stadium, was 5 hours and 15 minutes. The fans were exhausted. They were silent. It was like a silent movie for that main event, which was, not to mention, a triple threat women's match, the first ever woman main eventing WrestleMania, and it sounded like a snooze fest, even though it wasn't. It sounded like it was because of how long that Mania was and how exhausted the fans were. Just too many matches that didn't even feel like they meant anything, and they were just on WrestleMania. And that I think does putting 10 matches on a card give more people opportunity to shine the brightest lights? Absolutely. And that's why this is a tough argument. That's why people are both sided here. But it's hard to shine when your match is only given 10 minutes. In my opinion, Triple H is cooked with every PLE he's done pretty much so far. And he's running on that 5 match per PLE basis. And, Bash at Berlin got 15 plus minutes every match. WrestleMania 40, every match got 15 plus minutes. What else? Every match got 15 plus minutes for, I think, almost every PLE Triple H has done pretty much. Perhaps maybe a few matches that got 8 to 10. But besides that, in 2019 pay-per-views, like, every match felt like 10 minutes. And then obviously the main event was longer, but too many matches that are shorter are not good enough. I would prefer to see 5 matches where each match gets enough time to tell a story, to do good professional wrestling, as opposed to seeing a bunch of wrestlers that maybe deserve it, but when they're only given 8 to 9 minutes on a pay-per-view, it doesn't feel like a pay-per-view. It just feels like a Monday Night Raw mid-card match. And that's the issue. I feel like in 2019, we'd see people wrestle who got into one argument on Raw and wow, they got a pay-per-view match. But now it feels like the PLEs, every match is a big feel match, which is what it's supposed to be. That's crucial during a PLE. In my opinion, it's absolutely crucial that a PLE, a premium live event, it feels rare. It costs money. It's the best show that they can put on as a company. And to me, it's so crucial that they make every match mean something. And that's why I'm so big on this whole 5+ match. Sure, I think 6 matches would be great. I think 7 matches would be great. I think 8's reaching a little too high. But to me, I think as long as WWE can figure out a way, which they have been doing great, just keep doing it, figure out a way to make every match mean something. Make it more important than just a Raw or SmackDown match. Definitely more than a house show match, especially. If you can make a match really important, that deserves to be on a PLE.
Absolutely. I do agree with you there. Let's not just have matches for the sake of them. Let's make them mean something. And then if they do, well, they deserve a place on that card. A great take indeed. Shad is saying AEW's pay-per-view quality would be perfect if they kept it 5 to 7. I mean, that's almost dividing it by 2 with them. Even that 7, 5 matches would be dividing it in half. That is crazy. The heel Mark is saying that All Out's not far from where he lives.
I was going to let him know too. Yeah, no, I'm in Southern California now, but born and raised in Chicago. So yeah, I am not technically geographically close to you, but I try to go back home as many times as I can a year because I do love that city.
Oh, absolutely. I've never been there, but I would definitely love to go in the future. But the heel Mark is not a fan of the CEO Mercedes Moné. And Shad is saying Chris Jericho is the reason why his match was silent. Maybe the halftime wouldn't be that beneficial for him then. Thank you very much, Brainkill. I appreciate that comment. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Petito is saying it too. He's saying that he'd like intervals in WWE. I mean, I don't know. Intervals on 5-match card, though.
Just a quick one, though. If it's 5 matches, I don't think it's necessary. If it's longer, then yes.
I think 8 matches and above, you need a 15-minute interval. Yeah. You need a time to go, get a drink, go to the toilet, and all of that. Lord Virus of Nurgle agrees with both of you. He's saying, I think regarding PLEs, it's a case of quality over quantity, exactly what you said, Josh. But maybe they could mix it up and vary the amount of matches. No doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? I think we can all agree that there's probably a happy medium. This is what I've noticed as well. It seems to be that everybody's ideal is in between what Triple H and Tony Khan do. And
right, it's like somewhere in the middle works.
Why is nobody trying 7? It is quite bizarre. But on that note, guys, thank you so much for all the questions you guys submitted. It's great to have you back, Josh. Welcome back to the show. Hopefully we will be seeing you again very soon. And thank you to Clark as well. And thank you to everybody who watched. We will be back tomorrow to talk a little bit more wrestling, talk Monday Night Raw, review Monday Night Raw. So we will see you guys then. Peace.